Bailey reached across the table for something and I saw a scar on her wrist from a knife and I just froze. It was only for a few seconds and no one even noticed, but in my mind, I was back in Bronson Hospital's intensive care unit following the surgery that saved Bailey's life. Her face was so badly beaten she was almost unrecognizable, both eyes swollen shut, her face covered with bruises and dried blood. Her hair was ripped from her scalp. I saw the bruising on her neck and throat where she was strangled unconscious, and her hands covered with slashes that had been stitched back together from fighting off a knife attack. I was also aware of the wounds I could not see. The multiple stabs to her lower body, one so vicious that part of her intestines spilled out. I also saw a kind, wonderful nurse who was gently stroking Bailey's face, whispering in her ear, "You're safe now. No one can hurt you here," over and over. This image haunts me and will continue to haunt me as long as I live. While Bailey was recovering, she asked me if her scars would make her ugly. I told her without any hesitation that she should be proud of every one of them, as they show how strong you are. Bailey showed who she is during this attack, a warrior. I will try to remember my own advice to her so that when I am reminded of her assault, I won't think of the pain she suffered, but that she lived. She survived because of her intelligence, strength, and will. Bailey is a true warrior. Julius Lee also showed who he is, a coward. Even when confronted with overwhelming, irrefutable evidence of his guilt, he refused to acknowledge his actions. Instead of standing like a man in front of this court and accept his fate, he sat mute, trying to use the law as a shield in a last desperate attempt to escape accountability.
Your Honor, today our daughter Bailey has made the decision to not read her impact statement because frankly to do so would give further words to Julius Lee and further words to his actions, and she did not care to do that anymore. So our words, her father's and myself, are speaking for Bailey as well. I never wanted to learn how to pack deep stab wounds in my daughter's back. I didn't want to learn how to change bandages on her slashed hands, and I didn't want to learn how to write an impact statement. But I did that as well as her dad because we didn't have a choice, and that is just what parents do. It has been hard for me to begin my path of my best health again, but I know I will with the support of so many wonderful people. However, the worst impact has been watching Bailey try to regain any normalcy in her life. Watching your child suffer, no matter what age they are, is the most difficult thing asked of a parent. With that in mind, Your Honor, I ask that you make sure that Julius Lee will never be able to harm another human and cause this much pain for any family. As well, I never want my family to fear his release. I plead with the court to give Mr. Lee the maximum sentence allowable by law, so no mother or dad ever has to grieve so deeply for the physical and emotional wounds to her child. Thank you, Your Honor.
You basically tortured someone and left them to die. Someone that you knew. And it's hard to fathom somebody that could do that. And so, I mean, taking that all into account when I am setting the terms of the length of your incarceration. When I'm imposing sentence, it has to be just, reasonable, and proportionate considering deterrence, punishment, protection of society, and rehabilitation. I've spoken to the protection of society piece that we're concerned about, as well as deterrence. We certainly don't want something like this happening to another person in our community. And so with that, and taking everything in account that Ms. Stell went through, and the fact that she lived is a miracle that she did on her own. She saved her own life. You know, a lot of times we don't even know what happens to people. She lived, you know, to tell the tale. So that was just based on her own willpower. So it's really an incredible story. So with that, as to count one. I am sentencing you to 480 months to 60 years. So that's 40 to 60 years. He's 38 years old currently. That means he will be an old man by the time he could ever be able to be out in public again. Any questions, Mr. Lee? Anything further?
No, thank you.
Okay.
All right.